Hey fight fans, gear up! Come with me to see all of Alex Pereira's amazing MMA fights. Feel the thrill of his one-punch knockout power. From his first ever match to his newest knockout win, you'll be glued to the screen. Excited yet? Let's dive in. Versus Marcelo Cruz. Just a few months after that stumble, Pereira faced off with a hometown hero named Marcelo Cruz. And guess what happened next? From the opening bell, Pereira turned on beast mode, showing off kicks and punches that were like fireworks. Within 30 seconds, Cruz had no choice but to try taking Pereira down. Cruz got on top for a bit, but couldn't make it count. The ref stepped in and got them back on their feet. Once standing, Pereira was like a one-man wrecking crew, kicking low, punching high, and landing devastating combos. When the clock hit 4 minutes, Pereira dropped a bomb, a massive right hook that rattled Cruz's head. He smelled the blood and followed up inflicting more pain, finishing the job.
Questão de tempo, vai batendo, firme com vontade.
Even though the ref took his time, Cruz was done for. No chance he was making a comeback. Versus Vinicius da Silveira. 4 months after his last win, Alex Pereira was back in the cage, this time against Vinicius da Silveira at the epic Jungle Fight 87. Pereira, known for his knockout power, made Vinicius so nervous that he wouldn't even trade blows with him. To dodge Pereira's deadly left hook, Vinicius grabbed him in a bear hug and pinned him against the cage for most of round 1. In round 2, the hugging saga continued. It got so dull that even the referee had to jump in and break it up. Talk about a third wheel. But guess what? Vinicius just couldn't keep his hands off Pereira and hugged him again. Finally, Pereira broke free and unleashed a monster left hook that hurt Vinicius. He followed with more punches and finished the job. Lesson for you here, do not hug Alex Pereira if you don't want your brains rearranged. Versus Thomas Powell. For his last showdown before hitting the big leagues in the UFC, Alex Pereira faced off against a super ripped Thomas Powell. But guess what? Big muscles don't always mean big wins. Right from the get-go, Pereira turned up the heat, making Powell scramble on defense. Barely a minute in, Pereira unleashed a nasty kick to Powell's midsection and then piled on with some nasty knees. For what felt like forever, Powell was stuck playing defense, like a nail getting hammered by Pereira's relentless attacks. Despite trying takedown after takedown, Powell just couldn't bring Pereira down. Just as the clock ticked into the 4th minute, Pereira fired off a left hook that was as precise as a laser beam. Boom! Down went Powell, face first into the mat.
Kick over and out! That's the power.
Powell was out cold. Truly, it was a jaw-dropping moment. Versus Andreas Mich. With just a trio of wins, Pereira stepped into the big-time UFC octagon against Andreas Mich. Round 1, Mich turned wrestler quickly, right after Pereira's sharp low kicks. Most of the round, Mich pinned Pereira either on the ground or against the fence. But guess what? No real harm done. Round 2 was fireworks. Pereira wowed the crowd by landing a jaw-dropping flying knee. Boom! Mich was down, and Pereira gave him 2 more smacks to finish the job.
With all the clinch in the ground.
Hey, props to Mich. His chin took a solid knee, and he didn't black out. Versus Bruno Silva. In his second UFC fight, Pereira met his match with fellow countryman Bruno Silva. Right off the bat, it was a punch fest. Silva dashed toward Pereira while Alex played it cool, landing clean jabs and racking up points. Come rounds 2 and 3, Pereira turned up the heat. His punches were on target, and his hooks, they were game changers. Silva fought tough, but struggled. In the final 30 seconds, Pereira unleashed an uppercut that broke Silva's nose and made his legs wobble.
Brawl here in the final 15 seconds.
He just broke his nose.
But Silva hung in there, punching back till the last bell rang. No cakewalk for Pereira, but he did take one more step towards the title. Versus Strickland. After 2 back-to-back UFC wins, Pereira squared off with the now top dog of the division, Strickland. Nicknamed Tarzan, Strickland was on a 6-win hot streak and had more battle scars than Pereira, making him the crowd's pick. But Strickland's bold move to go toe-to-toe with Pereira turned into an epic fail. Even though Strickland was all over Pereira like a wildfire, he got hit back hard. Halfway into round 1, Pereira landed his killer left hook and a follow-up with a right, knocking Strickland out.
Because he's...
Tough guy or not, Strickland goofed up big time and paid the price. Lesson learned, never serve your chin to Pereira on a silver plate. Versus Israel Adesanya. Pereira's next battle was with Israel Adesanya, the king of the division at that time. But get this, Pereira had already knocked him out twice in kickboxing. After taking down Strickland, Pereira zoomed straight to the title fight against Adesanya at UFC 281. Round 1, all Adesanya. He threw more punches and almost made Pereira see stars, but the bell rang just in time.
And he landed a big knee.
Oh, he hurt him. Huge right and a left at the end of the round.
He hurt him bad.
There it is. Yep, he hurt him bad.
Round 2 saw Pereira bounce back big time. By rounds 3 and 4, Adesanya was mixing wrestling and punches, impressing the judges. Knowing he was behind, Pereira went all in for round 5. Halfway in, he cornered Adesanya and hit him with a left hook that shook him to his core. A few more smacks, and boom, Pereira was crowned the new UFC middleweight king.
Down goes the champion. Pereira trying to close the show. That'll do it.
This was Adesanya's 3rd loss in a row to Pereira, and let me tell you, this one hurt the most. Why? The stakes were sky high, and the whole world had their eyes on it. Versus Israel Adesanya 2. Being the top dog in your division has its perks, and one of them is the chance for a rematch right after a loss. Adesanya craved another shot at Pereira, and guess what? He got it just 6 months later at UFC 287. Picture the first round. It was like a game of chess played with fists and feet. 2 legends traded hard, hitting leg kicks and jabs, each move a calculated step towards victory. Round 2 brought the heat. Adesanya burst out, launching high kicks that had Pereira on high alert. But the Brazilian wasn't about to back down. He unleashed a storm of his own kicks and punches. Adesanya dictated the pace at times, while Pereira turned up the heat at others. It was a back-and-forth battle. Then, in the late stages of round 2, Pereira transformed into a relentless pursuer. He cornered Adesanya, leaving the last stylebender with nowhere to escape. Little that he knew, he was getting set up for a big surprise. Adesanya retreated to the cage, making Pereira think he was hurt and covered. But in reality, he was planning a massive right hand and boom! The champ got hit one more time and it was game over.
Oh, counter right from Adesanya. Pereira down and out. Order restored. Adesanya.
Adesanya was the champ once again. That's the beauty of this sport. One moment you're the powerhouse, the next you're the one facing the storm. Versus Jan Blachowicz. After losing his last title match, Pereira bumped up a weight class to face Jan Blachowicz, a former UFC champ, in a high-stakes showdown. Round 1 was a roller coaster. Blachowicz got Pereira in a tight spot early on and took his back. But round 2, that's when Pereira turned up the heat, landing some epic leg kicks and jabs that left Blachowicz gasping for air. Pereira's striking game was so on point, Blachowicz had to wrestle him down, but Pereira bounced back up. No sweat. Round 3 was a fireworks show of punches, with both fighters giving as good as they got. Halfway through, Pereira blocked a takedown and landed a jaw-dropping left hook that made Blachowicz's head spin. In the final 40-second countdown, Blachowicz made a last-ditch grab for Pereira's leg, but ended up pinned. The verdict?
For the winner, by split decision, Alex Pereira!
Pereira won, but it was a close call, a split decision. Alex Pereira is stepping back into the octagon, and guess who he's facing? The wild and unpredictable Jiri Prochazka at UFC 295 for the vacant UFC light heavyweight title. Expect an epic showdown. Both of these warriors pack a serious punch and can send anyone to dreamland with one hit. So who's your pick to win this ultimate face-off? I want to hear from you. Drop your predictions in the comments. And don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And remember, protect yourselves at all times. See you in the next one.